In 2024, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration recorded more automotive recall notices than any year in the previous decade. Not because defects are being caught faster, because the defects are getting worse. Today, we are exposing the factory system, destroying the modern automobile from the inside. We are going to show you the only 3 types of vehicles you should actually be spending your money on. The monopoly. You never knew existed. Walk onto any dealership lot and you see what looks like genuine competition. Chevrolet, GMC, Buick, Cadillac, Ford and Lincoln, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep and Ram. Different names, different designs, different price points. Different companies competing to build you a better vehicle. That is an illusion maintained specifically for your benefit. 3 corporate conglomerates, General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis, control the majority of American automotive retail. Each of them has spent the last 15 years making the same quiet calculation. The buyer will not notice the substitution until the warranty expires. What replaced independent engineering culture is a system called platform consolidation. The same underbody, the same engine family, the same electronically controlled transmission get installed in vehicles carrying completely different nameplates and sold at dramatically different price points. A Chevrolet Silverado and a GMC Sierra are the same truck with different badges and a $5,000 price gap. A Jeep Grand Cherokee and a Dodge Durango share the same platform. A Lincoln Navigator and a Ford Expedition are identical below the belt line. The nameplate is a marketing decision. The engineering is shared. And when that shared platform carries a defect, every vehicle built on it carries that defect, regardless of the badge on the hood. The factory floor problem. The quality crisis in modern American automotive manufacturing begins on the assembly line with a compensation structure called throughput rate manufacturing. In the era of American automotive dominance, assembly line workers were paid by the hour and supervised by quality control inspectors whose entire job was preventing defective vehicles from leaving the plant. That model encouraged slowness when slowness was needed. It cost more per unit. It produced fewer defects. Today, the metric driving every decision on the factory floor is units per shift. The plant manager's bonus is tied to it. The line supervisor's performance review is built around it. When the line stops, money stops. When a worker flags a defect and pulls the stop cord, the entire downstream assembly sequence is disrupted, and the shift quota takes a hit. This creates a system where identifying a problem is a career risk, and ignoring it is the path of least resistance. The results are exactly what that incentive structure produces. Improperly torqued suspension components. Coolant lines routed against sharp frame edges that vibrate through them over 3 years. Electrical harnesses bundled with the wrong gauge wire for the load they carry, engineered to fail precisely 18 months after the powertrain warranty expires. This is not sloppy workmanship. This is the business plan. The engine designed to fail. The labor incentive problem is only half the story. The materials themselves have been engineered to fail on a predictable schedule. The most consequential engineering decision in the modern American vehicle is the adoption of the turbocharged direct injection engine as the default powertrain across virtually every mainstream model line. On paper, these engines are impressive: small displacement, high output, excellent fuel economy numbers on the EPA window sticker. The problem is structural, and the manufacturers documented it in their own internal testing before a single unit reached production. Direct injection works by spraying fuel directly into the combustion chamber rather than into the intake port. In a port-injected engine, fuel washing over the intake valve continuously keeps it clean. In a direct injection engine, nothing washes the valve. Carbon deposits accumulate on the intake valves with every combustion cycle. After 40,000 to 60,000 miles, that buildup restricts airflow enough that the engine begins misfiring, losing power, and consuming oil at rates the engineering team documented and chose not to disclose on the EPA window sticker. The service procedure to address this, walnut blasting the intake valves, costs between $400 and $800 depending on the engine configuration. It is not covered under warranty because carbon buildup is classified as a maintenance item rather than a defect. The manufacturer knew this failure was coming before the engine entered production. They sold you the fuel economy numbers the engine achieves before the buildup begins, and said nothing about what it costs to maintain those numbers after the buildup arrives. When that direct injection engine is also turbocharged, which it is in virtually every mainstream vehicle sold since 2018, a second documented failure point is added. Turbochargers operate at temperatures that cook the oil sitting in the feed lines every time the engine is shut off. This process, called heat soak, breaks down oil into carbon deposits that accumulate inside the turbocharger housing. After 5 to 7 years, the turbocharger bearing fails. Replacement cost, $1,500 to $3,000. Warranty coverage, 0. The failure occurs well past the powertrain coverage window and is classified as a wear item by the same legal team that wrote the warranty language. Your $35,000 vehicle carries 2 documented failure points. Both were identified by the manufacturer, BIF Production. Both fall outside warranty coverage by design. The warranty designed to deny. You might assume the dealer-certified pre-owned program or an extended warranty protects you from these costs. It does not. When you purchase an extended warranty, whether from the manufacturer or a third-party administrator, you are entering a coverage structure designed by attorneys whose job was to minimize payout exposure rather than protect your investment. Every claim is reviewed against a list of excluded failure modes that runs to dozens of pages in the fine print. Carbon buildup on intake valves is excluded as a maintenance item. Turbocharger failure due to oil coking is excluded as wear. Transmission shudder caused by a documented software calibration defect is covered only if you can prove the dealer failed to perform a specific software reflash within a specific service window that was never communicated to you when you bought the vehicle. The manufacturer's legal team spent years constructing an exclusion architecture specifically around the failure modes their engineering team identified in pre-production testing. They knew the failure points before the vehicle reached the showroom. They built the warranty around avoiding them. You paid for coverage, designed to cover everything except the things most likely to break. Meanwhile, you are still making the monthly payment on a vehicle sitting at the dealership, waiting for a back-ordered part the service advisor told you would arrive in 6 to 8 weeks. That was 4 months ago. Stop shopping like a consumer. Start thinking like an auditor. The badge on the grille is worth less than the engineering underneath it. Here are the only 3 categories worth your money. Option 3, current generation Japanese vehicles in naturally aspirated configuration. Choose Toyota, Honda, and Subaru. Specifically, any configuration that gives you a non-turbocharged engine. Pay the fuel economy penalty. It is worth it. The naturally aspirated Toyota 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine is the same basic architecture that has been running reliably in Camrys and RAV4s for 15 years. The carbon buildup issue still exists, but remains manageable without a turbocharger adding a second catastrophic failure point. You are buying the slower, less impressive version of the vehicle on paper, and the significantly more reliable version in practice. The EPA fuel economy numbers will be lower. The ownership cost over 10 years will be considerably better. Option 2. Domestic vehicles built before 2018, from the last era of port injection engines. Ford's naturally aspirated 3.5-liter V6 from 2011 to 2017 in the F-150. GM's 5.3-liter V8 in any configuration before the active fuel management system was introduced in 2019. That cylinder deactivation system destroys lifters at 80,000 miles on a documented failure pattern. The Chrysler 5.7-liter Hemi, before the multi-displacement system became standard equipment. These are the last generation of American engines designed to reach 200,000 miles without major intervention. They are not fuel efficient by current standards. They will not win a comparison test in an automotive publication. But the fundamental architecture was built the way automotive architecture used to be built, with margin for the unexpected rather than optimization for the warranty period. The bones are honest. Find them before the market fully recognizes what it is losing. Option 1. Japanese domestic market imports under the 25-year rule. This is the best-kept secret in the value vehicle market, and it deserves significantly more attention than it currently receives. United States federal law permits the importation of any foreign vehicle once it reaches 25 years of age. The same rule the overlanding community uses for Toyota campervans applies across every vehicle category. Right-hand drive, Nissan Skylines, Toyota Land Cruisers, and Honda Step with 40,000 original miles are entering the legal import window right now. The reason these vehicles have low mileage is structural. Japan's Shaken inspection system is a government vehicle safety program so rigorous and progressively expensive that owners frequently sell perfectly functional vehicles simply because the inspection cost at age 10 or 15 exceeds the vehicle's practical value to them. The result is a secondary market flooded with low mileage, properly maintained vehicles that the Japanese market has discarded for economic rather than mechanical reasons. A 1999 Toyota Land Cruiser 80 series carrying the 4.2-liter inline-six diesel engine, an architecture designed for commercial truck service and rated for 500,000 miles between major overhauls, can be imported and titled for between $25,000 and $40,000. That same vehicle, purchased new today in American trim, would cost $90,000 and would arrive on a platform shared with a Lexus LX, powered by a twin turbocharged V6 requiring premium fuel and a $2,200 turbocharger service by year 7. You are not buying an old car. You are buying a machine that is already fully depreciated, was maintained to a government inspection standard more rigorous than anything required in the United States, and carries a drivetrain architecture so overbuilt for its application that 25 years of use barely registers on the wear curve. The depreciation math alone makes the argument. A new $35,000 American vehicle loses roughly $12,000 in value the moment you drive it off the lot. A $25,000 Japanese domestic market import has already absorbed every dollar of depreciation it will ever experience. In 5 years, it will likely be worth approximately what you paid for it. The era of the honest American automobile is effectively over. General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis are counting on you to be distracted by the touchscreen, the ambient lighting package, and the 0 to 60 time long enough to miss the turbocharged direct injection engine accumulating carbon deposits behind the intake valves at 40,000 miles. They are counting on you not knowing the difference between an EPA fuel economy number and a real-world 10-year ownership cost. Do not let them convert your transportation budget into a subscription to their service department. Check the injection system. Check whether the engine is turbocharged. Research the platform history before you sign anything. And never underestimate the value of an engine that was overbuilt for its application in 1999 and has spent 25 years proving it. The badge on the hood is a marketing decision. The engineering underneath it is what you are actually buying. If this changed how you think about your next vehicle purchase, subscribe. Drop a comment telling us which vehicle category we should investigate next. Stay informed and protect your money.